Hello and welcome to Let's Argue with Jay Playhard. I am your host, Jay, and today we're going to be talking about NFL free agency with my main man, Shane Davidson. What's going on, bro? For, for those of y'all that don't know, my main man, Shane, he bartends at Shades Bar and Grill out there on Highway 30A in Inlet Beach, Florida. And he is a huge Vikings fan, probably the biggest Viking fans that I know personally. So I wanted to bring him on today, and we wanted to talk about, yes, Kirk Cousins, $180 million, 4 years, going to the Atlanta Falcons from your Minnesota Vikings. Let's get an honest opinion from a true, knowledgeable Vikings fan. Shane, how do you feel about Kirk Cousins leaving you guys and going down south?
From the Vikings, that's one thing I've been looking forward to every year. It's just the consistency. Everybody got them, but I watched them every year. I knew we had a consistent one every single year. And now we could play that game. We go in and can do it. It's frustrating, but for him, and that man has the greatest agent that has ever existed. Don't know why they didn't show it on the QB documentary. They needed to show the bank vault that he's in his house as well, because he is giving every single time he's in his contract. Don't know what these rumors were about he's ready to take a team-friendly deal. 4 years, $180 million. He's making sure his grandkids.
I mean, Kirk, I think I read somewhere Kirk has made over $300 million in guaranteed money over the course of his career. He's fine. I think he's made more guaranteed money in his NFL career than Tom Brady. Just to put that in perspective.
That's what gets going, and every year salary cap goes up. So quarterbacks are going to be more every single year. Oh, he's coming off Snell. He's going to be 40 years old at the end of his contract. I mean, hats off to him that he gets to retire in Atlanta next to his wife's family in Savannah.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. So his wife is from Savannah?
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's where he spends a lot of houses.
Okay, well, see, that makes a lot of sense then, for the future. Now, the Vikings did sign Sam Darnold to a one-year deal, $10 million. I'm guessing he's that stopgap replacement at quarterback for you guys. But you also picked up an interesting piece at running back. Aaron Jones, who was released by the Packers today after they signed Josh Jacobs. How do you feel about those two pickups?
Both of them, it depends on what we're doing with the rest of the offseason. But if those are our two big signs, then we're playing for next year.
Well, do you think so? I had JJ McCarthy going to you guys in my mock draft. Do you think Minnesota maybe makes a play for one of the young quarterbacks?
I mean, I would love it if JJ McCarthy fell to 11. Just the only problem is now is like there's so much quarterback need in the top 3, top 5. I don't see us being able to get up to one of the top, 5 picks unless we give up, everything in the world in Justin Jefferson, And if that happens, it's not worth it.
So Justin Jefferson, he's looking for a new deal. And it seems like Minnesota is going to be in position to give it to him after letting Cousins walk. But who's going to throw him the ball? That's the real question.
Exactly. And I mean, I was more expecting the Vikings to sign I get Sam Darnold's been in the league for a little bit, but I was expecting him to sign more of a mentor, not a 25-year-old.
Yeah, so it's crazy.
We'll see how that plays out. But both Aaron Jones and Sam Darnold signed a 1-year deal. Yeah. So they're not going to be there for long.
Yeah. Do you think Sam Darnold on a prove-it deal? I've been hearing people saying he's ready to start somewhere after Shanahan's kind of rebuilding of his career in San Francisco. You don't think Sam Darnold could make some noise?
maybe, and it might make sense because we got his old quarterback coach, our quarterback coach now, Josh.
Okay.
Yeah, he's our quarterback coach now, so it does make sense if we brought him in just because we have somebody in the building that knows him a little bit. But I mean, that is not the San Francisco 49er that I wanted to. I want it to be like Barstow. You know, we've done great things on our defense this offseason, but that is just disappointing.
So, are there any moves on defense that you liked in particular?
Oh yeah, Greenlaw.
Oh yeah.
Greenlaw.
Oh, you got some Javon Greenlaw?
Yep. In Houston, former Gator, love. Also got Van Geekel out of Miami, yes, as well.
He plays like his hair is on fire.
Also tells me that Daniil Hunter might not be coming, which is a huge loss as well.
Yeah. Okay.
They did also sign Cashman, and I don't know how he plays, but that's a great last name, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah, Brian Cashman. He's a great open field tackler. A little bit to be desired in the coverage department, but hey, he's a guy that's going to.
We hit great last year with Ivan Pace Jr. as a UPF looking with the coverage.
Yeah. So moving on, we're going to stick with the quarterbacks here. I'm going to keep you on for a little while if you got time. Russell Wilson to Pittsburgh. How are we feeling about that move?
Yeah, honestly, I think it's a great thing. I really do. I think like Mike Tomlin's going to let him be him, and that they have I think they're going to have a good relationship. I don't think Russell had a chance in Denver with Sean Payton. As soon as he walked in the door, the first thing he said was that you can't have any of your people here. You can't be the person you've been for 6 years. I don't think that, you could tell halfway through the season when he's playing good and they bench him.
Yeah. He had that thing turned around.
That's Pittsburgh. You have to lose. You pay league minimum and you get a Super Bowl winning who's been there twice.
With talent on the outside. Pittsburgh has a lot of talent on the outside, man.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a Kenny Pickett believer, but worst thing comes to worst is you still got him sitting on the bench.
Maybe he can.
I think Russell Wilson and Pittsburgh are going to show people something next year, and they're going to fight for the division. Now, also being said, everybody else in that division is getting better today as well. Who's the running back that Cincinnati just got?
Oh, Cincinnati just signed Zach Moss to an $8 million deal, and they traded Joe Mixon to Houston. I just got an update on my phone about that. They instead of cutting Joe Mixon, they're trading him to the Houston Texans. So I think Cincinnati's getting ready to try to pay T. Higgins. I think that's why you're seeing a lot of the cap shedding from Cincinnati. They're going to try to make one last ditch effort to keep T. Higgins, which is a smart move. But also the Ravens. I'm hearing there's mutual interest from Derrick Henry and the Ravens. So yes, they are getting better. The Browns got a lot better yesterday on defense.
There's even ones that are trying to sign from Minnesota.
Exactly. They re-signed Zadarius Smith also yesterday. That was big for them. Yeah. So Cleveland is loading up. In Pittsburgh, I do like Russell Wilson to Pittsburgh. You get some stability at the quarterback position. I read somewhere that he threw for 26 touchdowns last year. Kenny Pickett's thrown for 25. The Pittsburgh quarterbacks have thrown for 25 the last 2 years. So you've got an instant upgrade in talent there for Pittsburgh, and hopefully Mike Tomlin can continue that non-losing season streak.
If I'm not mistaken, Russell Wilson did the season before he got benched.
Yeah. And he did that with no one really rooting for him to win in Denver. He is
begin to win now that we're seeing the team fall apart and want it to be.
Yeah. They're having to go through a total rebuild over there in Denver. I think Surtain will probably be the next one to go. He and Sutton. Yeah, but nobody signed with the Denver Broncos of note. You know, um,
See what they do, and someone that is poised to the draft. Just want to see if he gets.
they're gonna have to, and I'm hearing Sean Payton is very very much inclined to do so. He wants to get a young quarterback in there and mold him in his image. Um, I think his behavior kind of left a lot of bad taste in people's mouths. So they're gonna have to win, and they're gonna have to win soon. Um, the running back market, exactly. Yeah, they're gonna have to pay. They're gonna have to pay the old Broncos tax. As a Jaguars fan, I'm familiar with overpaying for free agents.
I mean, honestly, as a football, I'd rather overpay for free agents than take the gamble on a rookie. Yes, if it does pan out, it's great, but it is few and far in between that you find a 24-year-old that's poised to be a Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's true too. That's true too. This class is loaded at quarterback, though. It is loaded. I think Spencer Rattler's going to be a good one. I think in the right situation, Joe Milton has all the tools to be a good quarterback, the Tennessee quarterback. But yeah, there's a lot of guys in here with a lot of question marks, but there's some guys I feel really good about. I like Jaden Daniels. I think he's quarterback too. I like him over Drake May, but I think Drake May's solid. Everybody knows what Caleb can do, with the circus throws and the improvisation. But I did want to ask you about the state of the running back position. Yesterday, a lot of big name running backs got deals between 2 and 4 years. All of those deals between 25 and 38 million. So it seems that the days of the Le'Veon Bell deal are done. What do you think about the current running back market?
Yeah, I mean, for him, but proof is there. You don't need to pay a running top tier money. I mean, like the fact that you can go get two young guys and split the carries, you're going to get the same production. I mean, I haven't, it's been a while since you've seen someone like Derrick Henry. Yes, he's an outlier, someone you don't need anyone else on your team. If you got Derrick Henry, they have to respect him. So that opens everything else up. But I mean, nowadays with running backs coming out of the backfield for receiving, everything like that, it's the way the NFL has done it. They've just split carries to make it to where they don't have an argument when it comes to signing a new contract. They don't have the numbers to put up to sign your breaking deals, Adrian Peterson kind of money, Derrick Henry kind of money. I mean, they just they're going against the running back on purpose just to not have to pay him.
Yeah, yeah. I believe the same thing. Saquon Barkley got a 3-year, $37 million deal with the Eagles. Josh Jacobs, 4 years, $48 million with the Packers. That was the most lucrative one of the day. Austin Eckler got 2 years in an incentive-laden deal from the Commanders for $11.43 million, and DeAndre Swift got 3 years for $24.5 million from the Bears. We just talked about Zach Moss and his 1-year deal for $8 million with the Bengals. It seems that kids should now play wide receiver.
100%. 100%, especially where it goes the way I hope it goes when Justin Jefferson signs a $25 million year deal for the next 4 years. That's going to be, you're going to have quarterback numbers coming out of a wide receiver.
Yeah, that's insane. And you know what's really eye-opening to me and lets me know that the league is changing? Interior linemen made more per contract than the running backs. Offensive guards, defensive tackles. I mean, let's look at a couple of them. The Panthers gave Robert Hunt 5 years, $100 million. We're talking about an offensive guard here. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah, I mean, well, also we got to take all these like massive contracts with a little grain of salt just because, the league got an extra $30 million team this year.
I mean, that's true.
So some of the, and it was about $10 million over what each team thought. So there's going to be some deals there that they overpaid someone just so they don't have to work position.
Yeah. I mean, in the case of Robert Hunt, the first 2 years are fully guaranteed
Yeah.
for an offensive guard. Now, Robert Hunt is all world. He's legit. I know a lot of people don't really pay attention to the offensive lineman, but we give him love here on Let's Argue. The Rams signed Jonah Jackson, 3 years, 51 million. 34 of that guaranteed.
It honestly makes sense paying the interior offensive linemen and just offensive linemen in general that much, especially with how many RPOs are being run.
Yep.
I mean, what they're being asked to do is honestly, very hard to sit there and play the pass and the run at the same time. To sit there and you need to make sure that your run support, but you can't go downfield just in case they throw it over the top. So, I mean, what they're asking them to do with these RPOs is very difficult for interior offensive linemen. And you can see why, if you're really good at it, you deserve to get paid.
Yeah, of course. The Lions re-signed Graham Glasgow, 3 years, 20 million, 9.5 guaranteed. And the Raiders give defensive tackle Christian Wilkins 4 years, 110 million, 84.75 guaranteed. We're talking about interior linemen. Albert Hainsworth back in the day, he got 100 million, but even he was an outlier back then. I personally think after watching this season and watching players like Chris Jones and Justin Matabuke dominate games, the NFL is looking at these guys and saying, hey, these guys can win us Super Bowls. Look at Aaron Donald, what he did for that team a few years ago. These interior linemen, if you get them, you can win a lot of football games. And I think that's where that money's rotating from the running backs more so to the line. Moving on.
Especially with,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Especially with guys like that, you take away the run completely. You don't have to let the box. You don't have to, you can play that RPO truly. Like, you can have your linebacker come off and play pass protection, even though it may be a run, because you do have guys up the middle that no matter what are stopping it.
Exactly. And it's just,
that's what I was hoping the Vikings would have got, Wilkinson, but rumors are San Francisco, there's no one Eric Armstead would gladly take it.
Oh yeah, Eric Armstead is one of those guys that I'm looking for my Jaguars to also go after. We did address the interior offensive line with Mitch Moore, so I'll get a little bit more into the Jaguars a little later. But you have to have that push up front. If the Jags had that push in the interior line, we make the playoffs last year. So
Jags so far in the past couple of days,
I'll say it like this. I'm cautiously optimistic. I want to see what else we do. You know what? Let's just jump right into it. We signed Mitch Morse. We just talked about that, but we also signed Ronald Darby, cornerback to a 2-year deal. Darnell Savage. Now this one I am excited about because our back end needs a lot of retooling, a lot of work. Darnell Savage is a solid safety. He can cover. He can play both strong and free safety. So I'm loving that. Devin Duvernay, low-key good pickup. Low-key good pickup because this guy is an elite punt returner in the league. And, he gets loose down the field. He's a deep threat. So I like picking up Devin Duvernay for our kick return and punt return duties. But the biggest one of the day is Gabe Davis, 3 years, $39 million, $11 million signing bonus. Before I talk about it, how do you feel about it?
I mean, I heard all you hope is he dropped those balls because he was in degree weather in the north. He went to the exact opposite team. He said, I'll go to the south and make sure I never see more than, below 60 degrees.
Maybe that's part of it.
Yeah.
Gabe Davis is explosive, but inconsistent. And I believe we have to do more at receiver.
Your biggest hope is that you keep Calvin Ridley.
Actually, for me, I would rather see Calvin Ridley go and we keep our second round pick.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's another thing. This draft class, I mean, future draft classes.
Yeah, that's where the game's going. So let's look at a Brian Thomas Jr. in the first round. Now that we've addressed some of these issues up front, we re-signed Ezra Cleveland, former Minnesota Viking. Thank you for that guy. He's been a.
I'm glad y'all want him to be anything but a guard. He's a natural tackle. Y'all moved him out and put him in the perfect place.
Yeah, he's doing well for us.
Hopefully Minnesota keeps Dalton Reisner, in his position and signs something.
I think I saw something there that they were in negotiations. Don't quote me on that, but Dalton Reisner is a good one. He is a good one. Now the Eagles, they did quite a bit yesterday, signing Saquon, to the 3-year deal, but they also signed Bryce Huff from the New York Jets. Solid pass rusher, trying to retool that defensive line. Fletcher Cox just retired, but they also re-signed Brandon Graham. So the Eagles did pretty well there. How do you feel about the Eagles? Do they have a bounce back next year?
I think they'll have they will have a good season. They will have a playoff season. But I mean, the Eagles were possibly the worst 12-0 team. Last year they started off 12-0. Every single one of those were Gillette.
Even the Cowboys.
So, we'll see, but it feels like the league is starting to understand the tush push a little better, and I'll give it to them. They changed the league with it, but I think people are catching up to it. I think they're getting, rugby style playing their
Gotcha. Yeah, makes sense. I think the Eagles offense will be more dynamic with the guy like Saquon in the backfield. Now, Jason Kelsey did retire, but the Eagles still have one of the best offensive lines in football. If they can keep that play going, I think you take a lot of pressure off of Jalen Hurts, and the Eagles, in my opinion, will have a bounce back. They will win the division yet again, and they will compete in the NFC.
I think they're going to be strong. First, they
got to keep him happy. You're right. Yeah.
I mean, what is a prime time player? Somebody that, I know the wide receiver class is good, but there's a difference from a rookie that you got to teach the NFL to and someone that can blow it out of the top.
Yeah.
You got to keep A.J. Brown. You got to keep him in the building. Like, I love Devontae Smith too and everything, but the only reason why that man's so open is because there are two people looking at A.J. Brown.
Yeah, AJ's a man out there among boys. I love the way AJ plays.
It's comparable to Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill in Miami. Yeah, I believe Jalen Waddle is a good wide receiver. It helps that Tyreek Hill is on your team and there are 2 or 3 people at all times looking at you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, those are just and especially and that's one of the reasons why I don't want to lose Justin Jefferson so bad. I want to keep Justin Jefferson because not only can he make the catch with 3 people on him, it leaves Jordan Addison wide open. That leaves TJ Hawkinson wide. That leaves, the running game with Aaron Jones now, a little dump off pass wide open. You cannot underestimate these wide receivers that command an entire defense. If you have to game plan against one player, that's somebody you need to pay.
Yeah, true. And you naming a lot of those weapons over there in Minnesota, man, I'm like, hey, Sam Darnold's kind of walking into a good situation. If you can't make this work, it ain't going to work nowhere for you, Sam. So
yeah, I mean, for real. I mean, we are loaded on the offense. We will have a situation, but I mean, the thing about Kevin O'Connell's offense that's honestly what I've seen especially from last year, having what seemed like 7 different quarterbacks, is that timing in his offense is aerial. There is no off rhythm throws. There is no questioning. It is 1-2, boom. It's not there. You have to make a decision quick.
Yeah.
And that's why I loved him. Not just because he was the greatest quarterback, is because he finally got in a position to where he didn't need to think. He just made decisions.
Yeah, and Kirk is one of those quarterbacks who processes information very, very quickly. And I think in a Kevin O'Connell offense, you need a quarterback like that. So I am interested to see what Sam Darnold's going to be able to accomplish in that offense. Now, moving on to a former rival of yours, Mr. Aaron Rodgers, that bad man. The Jets did nothing in day one of free agency to address that offensive line. Absolutely nothing.
Look, this is going to be the exact story of Brett Favre. I'm the with. If you go 3 years from the Jets and they get traded to Minnesota, I'm so happy.
I mean, they
that is
address.
We will see. He's still a bad. I don't think the Jets honestly need to make too many moves. They have weapons on their team.
Oh, they have to address that offense. That offensive line is terrible. And I don't say that often. I don't say that often talking about NFL players, but that Jets O-line was terrible last year. Now, I don't know if that's because they had Zach Wilson back there and they didn't believe in him, but they did not play well. Mekhi Becton is not the answer.
I believe it's Wilson. I mean, zero. What was it before? Rodgers, when his teammates were wearing backups T-shirts.
Can you imagine?
They were openly supporting a backup to replace you. I mean, I don't know how Zach Wilson still has a job. Just released him. I mean, it's just
they did give him permission to seek a trade. So hopefully Zach can get to a place where he can learn and grow and make a name for himself as a backup for a few years and then get another shot. I don't know, but that
what are you trying to get out of a trade with him? A washing machine?
I mean, Mac Jones went for a 6th-round pick. So
a 7th? So
I mean, hey,
2 years down the road.
Here's the thing. Why don't you have Zach Wilson and Sam Darnold in Minnesota and they can compete?
Shut up. I'd rather have Nick Mullins as our starting quarterback.
Shout out to Nick Mullins, man. He was on 38 last year. Shout out to him.
I'd rather have Nick with us. That is not the quarterback I want. But I mean, with the line for the Jets, they're about to get Bakhtiari.
Oh yeah. David Bakhtiari, Green Bay left tackle, longtime left tackle for them, was cut yesterday, saving them $20 million in cap space. So
I think that Aaron Rodgers recruitment, is about to get on, and they're going to get some people.
They're going to have to do something. Because I thought that they would be more aggressive going after Robert Hunt, being right there in the division with Hunt, seeing him twice a year. And maybe they were, but you can't really compete with 5 years, $100 million. So maybe they were just outbid there.
Well, I mean, and they still have the trade coming up. There's honestly a lot of good offensive linemen right now, too. There's in the trade. We'll see what they do, but I mean, they have weapons all over the place. Breece Hall, they have Cooper Wilson, they have, Alan Lazard is no pushover.
I believe they cut Alan Lazard. Yeah, let me double check that. But I believe they cut Alan Lazard. Let's see. Let's Google.
I think George Rodgers would let that happen.
But you know what? After the debacle last season, I don't know if he's got the power that he had going in. You know what I'm saying? I think they're going to go back and do what's best for the team. Um,
I'm totally fine with that. Piss him off. Let him come back to Minnesota.
yeah, let's see. Alan Lazard. Let's see the news. Well, yeah, they're saying he's been one of the worst free agent signings. Well, he hasn't been cut yet. He hasn't been cut yet, so maybe he can get it back on track. But what about this? What if they get Devontae Adams?
And the Raiders would be idiots.
I mean, if Devontae doesn't want to be there, the Jets take on some of that money. I mean, it's obvious the Raiders need a quarterback. They signed Gardner Minshew.
Antonio Pierce likes Devontae Adams too.
You think so? You think they can kind of make it work?
I think Antonio Pierce is a true player's coach, and he realizes that when you have all Hall of Fame talent on your team, when you have Devontae Adams and Max Crosby, you don't get rid of them. You make them happy.
Yeah.
You know, you listen to them, you make them happy. And, you know, you try to get them to stay on the team.
Yeah, yeah. I hope Antonio Pierce has success out there with the Raiders. It seemed like they really responded to him at the end of last season, so I'm glad to see him get a shot.
I mean, I hope he does as well, but he's got a tough far ball now in that position.
Oh,
you know, it's.
Do you think Jim Harbaugh drafts Blake Corum now that Austin Eckler's gone?
Yes,
I can see
like it. I can see it too. Like, I think that's the reason why they got rid of him is because he knows who he's.
Yeah.
I mean, Blake Corum is a dog, and I'm not putting any respect in his name. I don't know, it's like the number.
Yeah, but I could definitely see Blake Corum going to LA. I could see them taking the offensive lineman with that first, that high pick that they have, and then grabbing Blake Corum in the third round. I could see it. He showed a lot at the combine too, man. He was strong. His bench press, he bench pressed the same amount of reps as Joe Alt, the top tackle prospect in the draft. So whoever gets Blake Corum is going to get a beast at the running back position, no doubt. Any guys in the draft that you like?
Running back wise, I was hoping we'd get Blake Corum, honestly, later in the round and not sign Aaron Jones. But I mean, again, he's just to a 1-year deal, so who knows? We might do the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I can see the Vikings taking a running back. Jonathan Brooks is another one I like from Texas.
I mean, and it's just everything now is you got to go get a goal. You got to go get the future. You can't play this game. I remember the Christian Ponders and the Sam Fruits and the Teddy Bridgewaters. Those days sucked.
The first year Teddy Bridgewater did not suck.
No, it was good. It was promising until he got sniped.
I mean, he had one of the nastiest injuries I've ever seen. Yeah.
Yeah. Teddy's a coach now. Okay with him coming back as a QB coach too,
Yeah, Teddy was the man before that injury, man. Like a lot of people don't realize Teddy B.
Well, Teddy too.
Yeah, Teddy B, man. Teddy B was that guy, man, before that injury. But what about this trade scenario in the draft? Justin Jefferson to the Arizona Cardinals for their first pick in the top 4. Don't they have? I think the Cardinals have 2 first-round picks. What if they were to give you 2 first-round picks for Justin Jefferson?
Man, a first. I'm not saying you couldn't find a good deal to where on paper it makes sense, but this is someone that is proven now. This isn't like, oh, he had a good year. He didn't have 2 good years. He is a proven top 3 wide receiver in the league.
Yeah.
And we just said about how it's developing into one of them, if not the most important position. I
but do
mean,
you
that
lose
catch
him
he
for
had
nothing?
against Buffalo 2 years ago is worth 2 first-round picks alone.
Yeah. Oh, you are totally right about that. But do you risk losing him for nothing? You know, a player like Justin, he wants to win, and this year is gonna. I think this year is gonna be very, very important to the future of the Vikings.
He wants to win as well too, and that's what of course, he made the comment wanting to know who his quarterback is. It seemed like no one covered this came out of his mouth right. He said, "Yes, I want to know who the quarterback is." Don't forget, I put over 1,000 yards receiving, multiple touchdowns, and I only played half a season with 4 different quarterbacks. He can catch the ball. He said he loves Kurt because he puts in the right place, but it don't matter if it's a little behind, a little ahead. He said, just throw me the ball and I got it.
Yeah, yeah. You can't just create those guys, man. You cannot. But I will say this: I've seen more wide receiver talent in this class than maybe ever. Is that okay to
It's
say?
all these kids developing from 7-on-7s.
Like,
It's all these kids that are playing in these leagues with, you know, two-hand touch, flag, no linemen, but they're out there just running routes every single time.
yeah. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen the type of talent I'm seeing. And I mean, you got Marvin Harrison Jr., who's he looks like he's going to be generational. Neighbors, I've the Chris route running. Brian Thomas Jr. looks like an absolute dog, but he played opposite of Neighbors, so I don't think he's getting the love that he deserves. Then you got
Just like when Jamar came out after Jefferson.
exactly. Justin Jefferson was a mid a mid pick. What 15? Didn't you guys pick him at 15?
Yeah.
You know, so you've got all this talent coming out, man, and I don't know. I don't know where you go from here as a Vikings fan, but Sam Darnold, he better prove it.
I mean, hope he's not a player. I am never for a team because, you never know what's happening years to come. You never know what injuries, you never know what players, anything like that. I am always of like the stance that you need to play for this year.
Exactly.
I get it is because especially every single one of these coaches, y'all can play for 2-3 years down the road, but you may not make it there.
Exactly.
If you're going to have a team that wins 4 games, you're not going to make it to see your quarterback, rise. It's just like the Justin Fields argument right now. He might be a really good player. He needs to develop a little bit more, but that coaching staff doesn't have the time to let him develop. They'll lose their job before it happens, and they didn't even draft him.
And you know what's crazy about that whole situation? The head coach only has 1 year left on his deal. So obviously, if they don't have the success this year, Eberflus and his staff, they're gone. The Bears are in an interesting situation here because you could trade down and have an embarrassment of riches to put around this guy and see what you have. I'm of the opinion that Justin Fields is going to be a really good quarterback in the league. But on the other hand, you've got a guy in Caleb Williams who many people are saying this guy's a generational talent. I don't know that GM, he's in a great position because they also have like $80 million to spend on free agency, and they have been spending it. But the Bears are going to be a lot better next year. But who do you think? Who would you go with if you were the GM? Fields, more picks, or Caleb Williams?
If I was their GM, I'd stick with Fields and get some more picks because he goes back to, we are saying he is a generational quarterback. We don't know. It's like, and like you said, you have 1 year left on your deal. God forbid all the rumors about Caleb Williams being a prima donna and everything. Also, I don't think those rumors are true. I don't think he is asking for part ownership of a team, anything like that. But God forbid those rumors are true. When you just lost your quarterback, got a bust, and your job's done.
Yeah.
All within one pick.
Yeah. The Bears are an interesting situation for sure.
Because we've seen countless times quarterback be great in college, and it is just a different ball game when you got people that are playing for their mortgage. They're playing for their, like, this is their job. This is what they do. You know, this is not, oh, you know, might be this, might be that. It's like you have real defensive players coming at you now. Yeah, you looked good in college, but I'm sorry, like USC, there's times you played against people that are going to be future real estate agents. You played against people that are going to be dentists. You played against insurance agents.
Oh, man.
The people that you go up against now are people that get paid to do this for the rest of their lives. Like, this is the only job they're going to have.
That's hilarious. So that linebacker coming off the edge, that guy's going to be a lawyer one day. He's not going to be an NFL All-Pro.
Just juked him out of his pants. He's a personal defense attorney.
Sure, for sure. Well, we do have to talk about one more team in the division, the Green Bay Packers. Now, this is the most hated of the three teams that you guys play twice a year, but we got to talk about them. Jordan Love.
Why do they keep doing it? That's what I wanted to do more than anything, was sign Kirk Cousins for a 2-3 year deal, draft a rookie, let him sit behind Kirk for 2 or 3 years, and then let him take the reins. And the reason why I wanted to do it is because we've watched a team in our division successfully do this 3 or 4 times.
I mean, we're looking at if Jordan Love is what everybody thinks he is, and man, I am on this hype train. We could have 40 years of elite quarterback play.
It's not fair. Listen, Minnesota has had 2 not elite like Dante Colbert was good. Don't get me wrong. Frank Tarkenton, don't get me wrong. There are years in between. They are
decades, even
decades in between going from great quarterback to great quarterback. You cannot go from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers to potentially Jordan Love matching them. That's just not fair.
I mean, that is insane. And now they've added Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
A bigger, younger, faster running back than Aaron Jones. And the guy can catch.
Trying something to prove. He's been trying to get paid 3 years.
Yeah. So I mean, Green Bay is I think they're going to be tough. Well, I mean, AJ Dillon hasn't been very good. I think that's why they went and got a 3-down guy like Josh Jacobs to carry that load. But yeah, he's still there.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, you know, I jumped off the AJ Dillon train after year 2. He was on my dynasty team, and I was like, you know what? I think this is the best we're going to get of him. And
yeah, I'm not talking fantasy value.
You know,
we both know.
There's no fantasy.
There's 2 different things from fantasy value and team.
He's valuable in the short yardage. I mean, he is a big man. So, you know, in the short yardage, he's definitely going to be valuable. You can give him some of those carries to preserve Josh for sure. Yeah. So
if you're talking about running backs, you know, it's going to be disgusting. Here's one money on them to come.
I think Dallas is going to draft a guy.
I mean,
I think Dallas is going to draft a guy because it doesn't make sense to pay Derrick Henry all the money. He's 30.
Yeah, man.
And Jerry Jones does not have a history of paying older running backs.
And 1 year, 2 years. Let him prove it. He'll do
So
it.
I think there were rumors that he bought a house in Dallas. I don't know if that's confirmed or not, but I did see a rumor.
Like, Jerry Jones may not pay older people, but he loves names. He loves. It's not a bigger name than Ron Clark.
And that man's gonna sell a lot of jerseys if he wears number 22. Well, no, he can't wear 22. That one's retired.
Well, no, if you've seen him recently, I don't care if he's 3 years. He's bigger than the defensive lanes. He's bigger than their line. Man, he's a monster.
He is. He's a beast. He's a walking superhero. He's from Jacksonville, and I remember when he played for Yulee High School. Look this up if you've never seen it, but go look up Derrick Henry's high school tape. It is it is the craziest thing you will see. This man looks like he's playing with preschoolers in high school.
Yeah. Most NFL stars, you look at their high school tape, they were great.
I mean, but it's this
John Henry is one of those people that even at 30, even if you say, oh, he's lost us, he's not as explosive. It's like Derrick Henry makes the hole. He doesn't need to hit the hole.
Yeah, he's basically bigger than most of the linebackers. You're talking about Micah Parsons playing running back, that type of size.
His arms are bigger.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, true. I saw that picture with where the rumor that he bought a house in Dallas. I saw a picture of him standing with his real estate agents and his friends, and he was in a tank top and some tight pants, and his arms looked to be about 34 inches wide. I don't know what they were for real, but Jesus.
I mean, we all know Derrick Henry was born in Wakanda.
For real.
He's a superhero. He's eating the heart-shaped herb, all that stuff.
It's insane.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, Shane, it's been a pleasure, man. I don't want to keep you all day. Thank you for running through the NFC North with me. Oh, quickly, before we go, Detroit Lions, do they have a fallback down to earth next year?
It sucks because I honestly don't think so. I think they got a coach.
You think so?
He may not be he's one of those people where he may not be the smartest coach that's ever existed. He may not be like an Andy Reid where he's trying to, change the game. He's not going to be like a Chip Kelly who's trying to literally run a whole different offense. But I think one of the biggest things in the NFL, because NFL players have talent, it's getting the players to buy it. It's getting the players to believe in you and believe in the pro. And Dan Campbell, I'm a Minnesota Vikings fan, and if Dan Campbell asked me to run through a wall, I'd do it. I'd do it right now. I don't know if you've ever heard that man talk or, man, I love this team, man. But he's doing up downs with them,
Yeah. Yeah, he's running suicides and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, that is someone that can get players to play hard and play for him. I mean, and what sucks even worse is that they're hitting on their draft picks. Yes. They're hitting on Hutchinson. They're hitting on Penei Sewell. They're hitting on
Jahmyr Gibbs.
Jahmyr Gibbs. Yes, they're hitting on the wide receiver. What's his face?
Amon-Ra St. Brown. Yep.
Yes, they're hitting on everybody. And then not only that, the vets that are there are playing hard because of Dan Campbell. It's the NFC North is getting disgustingly good everywhere around. Minnesota has got to.
For sure. I agree. Well, we're going to get out of here. We're going to bring this to a close. But before we do, I want to tell the listeners, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment on all of those Let's Argue with Jay Playhard videos on YouTube. We're also everywhere that you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio. Yes, we are everywhere. And don't forget the Jay Playhard page. That's at JAY.Playhard. Make sure to give me a follow, and we'll talk about the subjects that you talk about on the page. Shane, thank you for coming. We'll definitely be having you back, and make sure to go visit Shane at Shades on 38 in Inlet Beach, where We show all of the great games, college, pro, UFC, boxing. That Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight will be on the screen later on this summer. So, Shane, is there anything you'd like to say to the people?
I mean, come out, come see me, make your drinks, Skull Vikings. Can't wait to see this draft.
All right, then, brother. So, thank you again for coming on. And that's it for Let's Argue with Jay Playhard. Have a great day, everyone. All right, bro.